Hello, everybody, and welcome, as always, to KamenRider BlackMan. My name is Tamir, and now today I would like to get into something that sounds a bit interesting, going on about a show that I like and that I've reviewed on this channel before recently, and that's Gridman. Now, where Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad Gridman originates from is from the original 1993 show, Denko Chojin Gridman. Man, I would love to watch that show and find it subbed somewhere, because I really want to watch it. And this is something that just came to mind to me. Like, does Gridman have Gridman, in my opinion, I feel like it has the opportunity. This is a question for you guys if you want to answer as well. Does Gridman have the opportunity to be an actual ongoing franchise like Ultraman and whatnot? Because the show alone is like the brother franchise of Ultraman already, with the fact that it holds all the same elements, like giant monster fights. But the only difference with Gridman is that it does a lot more. With Ultraman, yes, there are giant monster fights, but they also do different forms and whatnot, and some suit-wise follow the same pattern to which they will adapt sometimes, and it won't just be red and silver. With Gridman, it actually does adapt in colors and not just red and silver like his usual form. But remember from episode 1 of Quadruple S that Hyper Agent Gridman, when we saw his form, it was purple. And so yeah, Hyper Agent Gridman's form showed purple, blue, and silver, and it looks fine. But there's also There's also Gridman Sigma, that one suit that was never used in a series, but in the 5-minute video that I saw, then the colors on there are just fantastic. Let me just first start off by saying that I love the Gridman Sigma form, cause it's just so amazing. And I don't know what it is about it. It's probably because it's like a whole new thing, and it's completely different from the actual Gridman form. And so, just, yeah. Because I don't know where to take off from there. Well, here's something. Like I said, back to what I said with Gridman having, like, different form. Back when I said about Ultraman having different forms and whatnot, so does Gridman, or at least in the current anime now, where he gets all those mechs that would come together to actually make that final form for him. In the anime, he does get, say, lateral form. He does get, horizontal forms from each mech, to which are impressive. And I find that kind of interesting because it's taking those two things from, like, Sentai and KamenRider. Like give them, like, horizontal form changes, and then bring them all together for a Megazord / final form, to which it's pretty cool. And that's just something to me that I would just really like to see, because Gridman alone is just, so far, it's pretty dang good. The anime, that is. I still really want to see the original show. And yeah, there are two forms. And yes, and both the original and Sigma do have that final form type thing going on, with Thunder Gridman and King Gridman. and which both look awesome. And so yeah, I don't know. This is just something interesting to me that I would really like to see developed, or or to what I think could be developed and be more. But here's the thing about that feels a little tricky, and it's the same thing with Ultraman. Ultraman, it falls under the same. It falls under the same genre and motifs. With Ultraman, it's always sci-fi and space, and with Gridman, it's constantly, well, it is sci-fi, but it's also computers and whatnot. Because for when he transforms, he always needs to be at the same computer where he's at. He's Now I don't know if he can adapt from that or not. I still current. I think yeah. Like to transform, he needs to be by the exact same computer and fuse with Gridman from there. And if this was to create a sequel of whatnot, and if this show alone was to be a sequel and modernize, it would be like a better opportunity to grab because cell phones exist now and can get cell phones exist and internet access from there. So yeah, that's a good opportunity there. But the one thing that would be a bit confusing and a little hard would be that Gridman's also based around computers and whatnot. So I don't know if that would really limit them on free range on different motifs or whatnot. Because that's the one thing that I find would be a bit challenging. Yeah, but don't get me wrong. Just because it's on computers, there's also they can work around things like around computers, like for example, video games, and like I said, and still devices. Like world of opportunities for a grid. Like I said, plenty of opportunities for if it was to get a sequel, they have opportunities just like KamenRider and Sentai to adapt and do different styles. It's just so yeah. But I still feel like it would be a bit challenging because I'm trying to get into Ultraman alone, and I still find it's a little confused. Every time I look at a suit, I always get like a little confused. Well, not so much with modern ones like Tiga and Geed, because their exact same motifs or ideas are to fuse ultras together and whatnot. And so I just get curious with Ultraman, like how do they come up with new ideas for every year, especially when it's completely different than Sentai and KamenRider? Because with both franchises, it's always new ideas, new motifs every year. And so this isn't so much of a demand, this is so much of a thought process, showing some ideas that Gridman has plenty of opportunities to, and just some things that would be a bit difficult to not drop, but work around, because you can't drop the computer thing, because that's completely drenched in Gridman itself. And so, yeah, like, gotta find a way to work around that. But here's one thing that wouldn't be difficult in the show, because the anime pretty much it can adapt from and just it can move itself away from the original show, because in the original show it was always a fight in the computer world, and now it's just straight up in real life kaiju fights. And so yeah. But yeah, I'm not saying that it should be Yeah, I'm not saying that Gridman alone should be more like, say, Ultraman or I'm not saying it should be like any other franchise out there, because I'll be real right now. Every franchise out there that I could think of, Super Sentai, KamenRider, Ultraman, they all literally borrow something from one another. So if Gridman got into the mix, it wouldn't be any different, and it would be actually pretty damn amazing. Because yeah, this is a show I knew nothing about, but then I watched the first few episodes, and I actually pretty like this show. I enjoy so much about it. Yeah, and that's my hair on the camera, but I'll take it over there. Well, those are my thoughts. I spent 10 minutes on it. I really didn't have a platform. I just had thoughts of how I'd want to say it and get it out there. And so, yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends and whatnot. I might do more videos like this sometimes if I can think of something. Either way, peace.